Okay, so I'm going to talk about how to study for the NCLEX. I'll give you everything you need to know for the NCLEX, everything you need to use in order to be successful in the NCLEX. I took my NCLEX back in April, so it's been a while, but I know some people are probably currently studying for the NCLEX or preparing to graduate and take the NCLEX in April. So I wanted to tell you guys about the resources that I use, how long I studied. I also want to talk about how anxious I was before I took the NCLEX, how scared I was that I wasn't going to pass because I didn't study long enough. So I just want to encourage you guys and let you guys know that you will pass the NCLEX and you will succeed because you made it this far, so you will succeed. But so personally, I would recommend making a study plan. I made a study plan. The one that I made is the one that I created is a 10-page study plan. About 10, well, I would say 7 pages. I don't feel like counting, but it's a long study plan. I had a lot of resources. I had Mark Clinic, I had Registered Nurse RN, I had Kaplan, I had Farm No Cars. I think I had 5 different resources on that study plan. I wouldn't recommend creating such a thick study plan. I intended on studying for 3 months, but I ended up studying just 1 month, like really focused studying for 1 month because I was working, taking care of my son, so I didn't really have time to dedicate 3 months to strictly studying, so I just did 1 month. But I do recommend studying for 3 months if you have time, if you're not, busy with work or any other responsibilities. But if you have a lot going on and you're feeling overwhelmed, I would recommend dedicating 1 month to the NCLEX so you can, study some of the things you don't remember. You can, study some of the material on UWORLD. So just create a 1 month study plan. Don't create a 3 month study plan if you will not have the time to study, to follow your schedule during those 3 months. Because the whole purpose of a study plan is to actually use it. I didn't use mine because mine's 3 months and I didn't have to start studying. I didn't have time to start to study for 3 months, so I didn't really use my study plan because it was all over the place. So I just, just studied for that month. So if you're studying, if you're gonna study for a month, dedicate a month to studying. Make that study plan for the month. If you have time, you can use the NCLEX RN book. If you already have the book, you can use it to read on some of the concepts you don't understand. But I wouldn't suggest buying the book if you don't already have it, because you don't need that book to pass the NCLEX. You do need UWORLD. I use UWORLD and it worked for me, so I would recommend UWORLD. But I've heard people use Kaplan to pass. They've used some other testing companies that I'm not familiar with, but I know Kaplan is one of them. And most of the people that I know use UWORLD, so that's what I live by. I will highly suggest UWORLD because UWORLD played a major role in my success in the NCLEX. Like I said, during that month that I studied, I only used UWORLD. I didn't use the NCLEX RN book. I didn't use anything. I used UWORLD, and basically I would just have a time set aside to study, and if I don't understand a concept, I would take notes on that concept. Like I have a notebook full of notes. Like this notebook, it's all notes, like color, pencils. Like I love, using different colors. It makes it more exciting to write the notes. I don't read my notes. I do not read my notes, but I do write them, and it helps me remember it. But I never like sat down and read back on my notes. It's weird, but I will just write them, but never read them again. But I will remember it. It works for me. If you're more of a visual learner, use my third resource or advice, because I already told you guys about making your study plan, the NCLEX RN book. Now I would say if you're more a visual learner, if reading things don't work for you, writing them down doesn't work for you, all of the concepts you don't understand, the section that you're on in UWORLD, just say you're in med surg, you're doing you're in the heart section and you're having a hard time understanding CHF, chronic heart failure. Come on, Shanti, come on, congestive. I'm sorry. congestive, I'm just, a little nervous. It's congestive heart failure. If you're having a hard time understanding that, you type it in on YouTube, registered nurse RN, congestive heart failure, and she has a whole bunch of videos explaining the condition, and she also has medications and everything. She has interventions. She's really good. So if you're more of a visual learner, use registered nurse RN. Just watch some of her videos, just sit down. Like, they're not too long. Some of them, the longest that I know, some of her longest videos are like 30 minutes. That's another resource. I would also suggest knowing where you're gonna study, knowing what time you're gonna study, and just really dedicating that time to studying and not be distracted. So I wouldn't suggest studying at home if you have kids, you have family members that are loud or that are going to distract you. So I would go to the library. I would use Starbucks. I would also well, it depends on you. Like, the library works for me. I will go to Panera, but it depends where you feel comfortable. Maybe you can go to the park. If you have, like, a hot spot, go to the park, sit down, you're in the shade, it's study, it's quiet, and the wind is blowing. It depends on the environment you like. Maybe you're a person that don't mind background noise, so you might be able to stay home. But for me personally, when I'm home, all of a sudden I have to do laundry, I have to do this, I have to play with my son, they're calling me, I have to go places. It's very distracting. So I personally like to be in a distraction free environment where I know I will be able to just sit down and focus on my studying. And so I just want to give you guys those tips, guys. So please, if you're very busy, you have a lot of responsibilities, you have kids, you have work, you will have to just set aside time. Like, I would suggest, if you don't have time to study for at least a month. Like, I think you can study for a month for the NCLEX and pass, because I did it. But I would recommend 3 months. Like, 3 months. Don't procrastinate. If you have time, just study for 3 months. But if you don't have time, make sure you study for at least 1 month. And on the UWORLD, you focus on med-surg and pharm. NCLEX is majority med-surg and pharmacology. Those critical drugs that they always talk about in nursing school, you always hear them, those important drugs. You need to know them. So you need to do that. And please, if you're a note taker, if you remember things, when you write them down, have yourself a notebook, a light, something cute that pink, whatever your favorite color. Get you some color pencils if you're like me. Like, I don't like taking notes with just a black pencil or just a plain I like color. I like having different colors when I flip it. I don't read my notes, but I like, for some reason, I just like different colors. It's pretty to write them down. It's like that. It makes studying more fun. So if you're like me, take notes on the rationales on concepts you don't understand. If you're a visual learner, registered nurse RN is your plug. So you're gonna go on YouTube, you're gonna watch the videos on the concepts you don't understand. And guys, I'll put a picture, I don't know, on the right or the left, like somewhere here, up there, on my I think it's the summary of the questions that I did. I know I didn't do the entire cube. I only did complete like 600-700 questions, and the cubic has like 2,000, but I had time to really focus on med-surg and pharm. And you guys, like I said, the information, you made it through nursing school, way more than and you will pass NCLEX. Like, if you're like me, I was in a situation where I felt like I had to cancel my test date because I didn't feel prepared, I didn't study long enough. But you know what, so much more than you think, so just study for that month or those 3 months and take your NCLEX. Don't change your date. Pick a date. Know you're gonna start studying, and just go pick a date and stick to that date and take your exam. And you will pass, but don't cancel your first date. Because now, I don't know how it is, but back when I took my NCLEX, because of the virus, it was really hard to get a testing date. So personally, I wouldn't change my date. So guys, just know, I believe in you. If I did it, you can do it. So go ahead and just study for your NCLEX. Don't procrastinate. Just select, you know, a time period, if it's a month or 3 months, and make your study schedule and study those days, and don't overwhelm yourself with resources, with like so many books to refer back to, so many testing websites to like use. Just get UWORLD. If you already have NCLEX Orient book, you can refer to that. Get you a notebook, and just make sure you have a comfortable study space and nice surrounding where you can focus and study, and you guys will pass the NCLEX. You guys will be nurses. You guys will make great nurses, and I believe in you. So please don't beat yourself up, and just know you can do this. You made it through nursing school, and you will pass the NCLEX. You just have to just study, you know, put in some of the studying. You don't have to, like, you know, beat yourself up too much, but just if you study for that 1 month, like I believe you can do it in a month. If you study for that 1 month, you will pass the NCLEX. You will pass the NCLEX. I'm telling you guys. If I did it, you guys can too. If you're currently going to take your NCLEX, good luck on your NCLEX. You will pass. And for those of you that are graduating in April, I would get UWORLD and try to do a few questions starting now. UWORLD can also help you with your classes. So it wouldn't hurt to get it now and just study those rationales so you can be prepared.
They tell me to move on, they don't serve you right. They tell me to work hard, I've been up for a few nights, I've been doing this for a new life.